the howling winds of Proxima Centauri carved patterns into the rocky terrain as Marcus Chen adjusted his atmospheric mask. 6 months into his geological survey of humanity's furthest colony, and he still hadn't acclimated to the planet's punishing climate. The red dwarf star cast an eternal sunset across the landscape, painting everything in shades of amber and rust. Base camp. This is Chen. I'm approaching the coordinates of the anomalous energy signature, Marcus reported into his comm unit. Static answered him. The magnetic storms were interfering again. He sighed and continued his trek toward the abandoned research station. Once a promising outpost built by the consortium, Station Proxima had been mysteriously evacuated 3 years ago. Official reports cited structural instability, but rumors suggested contact with an unknown species. The station appeared on the horizon, a collection of dome structures partially buried by the planet's frequent dust storms. Most of the facility remained intact, despite years of neglect. Marcus approached cautiously, his scanner detecting faint energy fluctuations from within. Unusual, he muttered to himself. Power systems should have failed years ago. The main airlock yielded to his universal access code, designed for emergency personnel. Stale air rushed out as the door slid open, carrying with it the metallic scent of abandoned technology. Marcus switched on his helmet light and stepped inside. The interior was in disarray, overturned furniture, scattered research tablets, and hastily abandoned personal effects told the story of a rapid evacuation. Marcus moved slowly through the main corridor, documenting everything with his wrist camera. The energy signature grew stronger as he approached the laboratory section. "What were you studying here?" he whispered, examining scattered notes and damaged equipment. A soft sound stopped him in his tracks, something between a whimper and a hum. Marcus froze, his heart rate accelerating. He wasn't supposed to be alone here. "Hello?" he called out, immediately regretting breaking the silence. The sound came again, more distinct this time. It was coming from behind a sealed door marked Xenobiology. Marcus hesitated, then overrode the lock. The door slid open with a reluctant hiss. Inside, the laboratory was in better condition than the rest of the station. Equipment hummed softly, powered by an independent energy source. In the center of the room stood a containment pod, its transparent surface clouded with condensation. The pod's indicators showed active life support systems. Marcus approached slowly, wiping away the moisture with his gloved hand. Inside, nestled in a bed of softly glowing material, lay a small figure. At first glance, it appeared to be a human child of perhaps 3 or 4 years. But as Marcus looked closer, he noticed subtle differences. Her skin had a faint purple luminescence, and her features were more delicate, almost crystalline. "My God," he whispered, as if in response to his voice. The child's eyes fluttered open, revealing irises of deep violet that seemed to shimmer with their own inner light. She stared at Marcus with an unsettling intensity. Then her lips moved, forming words that Marcus couldn't hear through the pod. Acting on instinct rather than protocol, he initiated the opening sequence. Medical warnings flashed across the control panel, but he overrode them. The pod opened with a gentle hiss. The child sat up slowly, her movements fluid and graceful. She wore a simple garment made of a material Marcus couldn't identify. It seemed to shift and change like liquid metal. "Hello," Marcus said gently, removing his helmet. "I'm Marcus. Who are you?" The child tilted her head, studying him with those luminous eyes. Then she reached out a small hand toward his face. Marcus remained still, fighting every instinct to back away. "Take me with you," she whispered, her voice melodic and strangely accented. "Please." Marcus felt a wave of emotion wash over him. Fear, protectiveness, wonder, all mingled together. And something else, a strange sensation, as if a presence had brushed against his mind. "What's your name?" he asked, his voice barely audible. "Lysira," she replied. And Marcus somehow knew it wasn't her real name, merely the closest approximation her vocal cords could produce. Outside, the wind howled, and Marcus realized he faced an impossible choice. Protocol demanded immediate reporting of xenobiological discoveries, but something in those violet eyes made him hesitate. "All right, Lysira," he he said softly. I'll take you with me. But there are people who will have questions, many questions. She smiled then, a gesture so human yet so alien. And Marcus knew his life had irrevocably changed. The journey back to Marcus's research outpost was tense. Lysera sat quietly in his rover, her violet eyes taking in the harsh landscape with curious intensity. Marcus kept glancing at her, still unable to believe what he had done. Smuggling an alien child, possibly the first contact with a new intelligent species, out of an abandoned station, violated every protocol in the Interstellar Research Coalition handbook. You cold? He asked, noticing her slight shiver. Lysera turned to him, her purple skin catching the dim light. Not cold. Different, she replied. Her vocabulary limited, but her comprehension seemingly advanced. Marcus adjusted the environmental controls anyway. We'll be at my outpost soon. It's small, but it's safe. As they approached the cluster of modular units that formed the Geological Research Station, Marcus's cum unit crackled to life. Chen, is that you? You've been off-grid for hours, came the concerned voice of Dr. Naomi Winters, the station's xenobiologist. Her assignment to the geological team had seemed wasteful until now. Had some interference, Marcus replied vaguely. Meet me at my quarters. Privately. 30 minutes later, Naomi stood frozen in Marcus's living space, staring at Lysera with wide eyes. You found her at Proxima Station? Naomi whispered, kneeling to examine the child more closely. This is... unprecedented. Lysera reached toward Naomi's face, her small fingers stopping just short of contact. She knows things, she said simply. Naomi's eyebrows shot up. What does she mean by that? Marcus shrugged. She seems to sense emotions, maybe thoughts. I felt it when I found her like she was looking into my mind. Telepathic capabilities? Naomi murmured, her scientific curiosity overtaking her shock. We need to run tests, document everything. No, Marcus said firmly, surprising himself with his protectiveness. No tests, not yet. She's not a specimen, Naomi. Naomi studied him, her expression softening. What happened to you in that station, Marcus? I don't know, he admitted. But when she asked me to take her with me, I couldn't say no. It wasn't just sympathy, it was like I recognized her somehow. Okay. Over the following days, Naomi became their co-conspirator. As the station's only xenobiologist, she had the resources to monitor Lysera's health discreetly. The child grew more communicative, her vocabulary expanding rapidly, though she spoke little of her origins. One evening, as Lysera slept in the makeshift bed Marcus had created, Naomi reviewed her latest findings. Her cellular structure is fascinating, she explained, showing Marcus's microscopic images. It's almost as if her biology adapts and evolves in real time. And her brain activity. She paused, looking troubled. What is it? Marcus asked. It's synchronized with yours, Naomi said quietly. When you're near her, your neural patterns align. I've never seen anything like it. Marcus absorbed this information, remembering the strange connection he'd felt since finding Lysera. What does it mean? I think she's imprinted on you, Naomi theorized. But it's more than that. She's creating a symbiotic psychic link. Their conversation was interrupted by a small sound. Lysera stood in the doorway, her purple skin glowing more brightly than usual. They're coming, she whispered, her voice trembling. The ones who left me. They feel me thinking again. Marcus and Naomi exchanged alarmed glances. Who left you, Lysera? Naomi asked gently. Your people. Not people, Lysera replied, climbing onto Marcus's lap. As she touched his face, images flooded his mind, vast beings of light and energy. A civilization existing partially in another dimension. In fear of a child born too solid, too physical. When the vision faded, Marcus found Naomi holding his arm, her face concerned. You went completely still, she said. What happened? She showed me, he said, cradling Lysera against his chest. She's a hybrid, something between her species and maybe human. They abandoned her because she was too different. Naomi's scientific detachment crumbled as she watched Marcus comfort the child. She joined them, her hand on Marcus's shoulder. Shh, we'll protect you, she promised Lysera. Later that night, after Lysera had fallen asleep again, Naomi and Marcus sat close together, speaking in hushed tones, for people return. "The coalition will detect them," Naomi said. "We can't keep her hidden forever." Marcus nodded, suddenly aware of Naomi's proximity, of the faint floral scent of her hair. Their weeks of shared secrecy had created an unexpected intimacy between them. "I can't let them take her," he said. "I don't know why, but it feels like she belongs with me with us." Naomi's eyes met his, something unspoken passing between them. "Then we'll find a way," she said softly, her hand finding his. Together, their fingers intertwined. Marcus felt a now familiar sensation, the gentle touch of Lysera's consciousness, connecting them both in a triangle of emotion and trust that transcended ordinary human bonds. Outside, the eternal sunset of Proxima Centauri b gave way to night, and somewhere among the stars, something vast stirred in response to a child's awakening mind. The anomalies began 3 days later. First, the outpost's long-range scanners detected unusual energy fluctuations in the upper atmosphere. Then communications with the main colony became intermittent, plagued by strange interference patterns. Marcus knew what it meant before the emergency briefing was called. "They're searching for her," he whispered to Naomi as they hurried down the corridor. Just like she said, the station's 20 crew members gathered in the command center, faces tense as Captain Rivera displayed the sensor readings. "These patterns don't match any known natural phenomenon," Rivera explained. "Central Command suspects it might be related to the abandoned Proxima station." "Chen, your geological survey took you closest to that area. Anything to report?" Marcus felt Naomi stiffen beside him. "Nothing unusual in the station's structure," he answered carefully. "Signs of rapid evacuation, but that's been documented before." Rivera studied him for a moment too long before continuing. "We're sending a team to investigate the energy source. Dr. Winters, you'll join them as xenobiology consultant." "Sir, I'd like to volunteer as well," Marcus said quickly. "I've mapped the surrounding terrain extensively." That night, as they prepared for the expedition, Naomi helped Marcus hide Lysera in a seldom-used storage compartment beneath his quarters. "She can't stay here alone," Marcus argued. "What if someone finds her?" "If we both go missing from the expedition, it will raise suspicions," Naomi countered. "One of us needs to be there to misdirect the team if necessary." Their planning was interrupted when Lysera emerged from her hiding place. Her purple glow dimmed to almost nothing. "You're afraid," she said simply. Looking between them, Naomi knelt beside her. "We're concerned, that's all. We need to understand who's looking for you." Lysera took their hands, one in each of her own. The connection formed instantly stronger than before, a three-way bridge of consciousness. Images flowed between them, vast beings of light. A civilization existing partially in dimensions humans couldn't perceive, and fear of a child who had manifested too physically after contact with human genetics that they consider me an aberration. Lysera's voice echoed in their minds, a dangerous bridge between worlds. When the vision faded, Marcus found himself embracing both Lysera and Naomi. Their foreheads pressed together in an intimate triangle. Naomi's eyes met his, filled with wonder and something deeper. "Did you feel that?" she whispered. "The connection between all three of us?" Marcus nodded, suddenly aware of Naomi in a way he hadn't allowed himself before the warmth of her skin. The depth in her dark eyes, the curve of her lips so close to his. "She's binding us together," he realized aloud, creating a family unit. The expedition left at dawn. As planned, Naomi joined the investigation team while Marcus remained behind. Ostensibly to analyze geological data, but actually to protect Lysera. Hours stretched into a tense day of waiting. When his quarters door slid open that evening, Marcus reached for the stunner hidden beneath his desk. Relaxing only when he recognized Naomi, her expression, however, sent a chill through him. "They found something," she said, voice tight with urgency. "Not Lysera, but evidence of her species." And Marcus. Central Command already knew about them. There are classified files. The consortium has been aware of these beings for decades. What do they want with Lysera? Her hybrid nature makes her valuable. potential communication conduit with a vastly superior civilization. Naomi ran a hand through her hair. Captain Rivera has orders to secure any evidence of alien contact. They've authorized full access to all personal quarters, starting tomorrow. Marcus felt the blood drain from his face. We need to leave, tonight. Their eyes met, the weight of the decision hanging between them. Running meant abandoning their careers, possibly facing criminal charges. Staying meant losing Lysera to people who would see her as nothing more than a scientific asset. I've already wiped the medical records and downloaded the research, Naomi said, her decision made. The maintenance shuttle has enough range to reach the secondary colony, as they gathered essential supplies. Marcus found himself watching Naomi, her efficient movements, her determined expression. In these weeks of shared secrets and danger, something had grown between them, something neither had acknowledged. Why are you doing this? He asked softly. You're risking everything. Naomi paused, meeting his gaze. At first, it was scientific fascination. Then it was about protecting Lysera. She stepped closer. Now it's about both of you. I can't explain it, but this connection between us, it feels more real than anything I've known. The tension that had been building broke in a single moment. Marcus closed the distance between them, his hands framing her face as their lips met in a kiss that felt both new and inevitable. Lysera's presence in their minds heightened the connection, creating an intimacy that transcended the physical. We should go, Naomi whispered against his lips minutes later. Under the cover of darkness, they made their way to the shuttle bay, Lysera hidden beneath Marcus's environmental cloak. Above them, strange lights danced in the atmosphere, a reminder that greater forces were at work, searching for the child who now belonged to them. As the shuttle's engines hummed to life, Marcus took Naomi's hand. Lysera nestled between them. Whatever waited beyond the horizon, they would face it together, a family forged among the stars. Dawn broke over the Helios Ridge in shades of crimson and gold. Marcus woke to find Lysera standing at the shuttle viewport, her small hand pressed against the transparent material, her purple skin pulsing with light. They're coming, she said without turning. All of them. Marcus moved to the navigation console, checking the sensors. The readings made his blood run cold, massive energy signatures in high orbit, unlike anything recorded in human exploration. Naomi, he called urgently. You need to see this. She joined them quickly, hair tousled from sleep, eyes widening as she took in the sensor data. Those readings, they're off the scale, my family, Lysera said simply. They felt me calling in my dreams. The implications hit Marcus like a physical blow. You've been reaching out to them? All this time? Not trying to, Lysera explained, turning to face them with eyes that seemed older than her small body. But when we sleep, when our minds touch, they feel the echoes. Naomi activated the communication systems, scanning all frequencies. Every channel was flooded with transmissions, emergency broadcasts from the main colony, military directives from Coalition Command, and beneath it all, a strange harmonic signal that made the shuttle's speakers emit an eerie, undulating tone. The whole planet is on high alert, Naomi reported grimly. Coalition forces are mobilizing, but against that kind of technology, ... She left the thought unfinished. Marcus ran a hand through his hair, considering their options. If we head for the colony now, we'll be intercepted immediately. But if we stay here, they will find us anyway. Lysera completed his thought. They are already searching. The decision was made for them moments later when the shuttle's proximity alarm sounded. A sleek black vessel had appeared without warning. Hovering just 50 meters away, not one of the pursuit craft from the previous day, but a Coalition Special Operations ship. Found us, Naomi whispered. Before Marcus could respond, the communication panel chimed with an incoming transmission. Captain Rivera's face appeared on the screen, his expression grim but not unsympathetic. Chen, Winter's Eye. Know you're receiving this, he said. The situation has escalated beyond your fugitive status. We need the child. Now. Marcus moved protectively toward Lysera. Why? So you can study her? Use her as a weapon? So we can save what's left of this colony, Rivera replied sharply. Those ships in orbit have already disabled our defense systems. They've sent a single demand: return the hybrid child. Comply, or they'll extract her themselves. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving them in stunned silence. I won't let them take you, Marcus promised Lysera. Kneeling to meet her gaze, the child smiled sadly, touching his face with gentle fingers. They aren't coming to take me, she corrected. They're coming to destroy me and anything connected to me. Naomi joined them, creating their familiar triangle of connection. Why would they want to destroy you? You're one of them. Not enough, Lysera explained, initiating the mental link that had become their primary mode of true communication in the shared vision that followed. They understood at last Lysera wasn't merely a hybrid but an evolutionary leap, the first of her kind to manifest physical form without losing higher dimensional consciousness. Her existence represented a potential bridge between realities that her species considered dangerous, a doorway that could allow their ancient enemies access to their realm. They fear what I might become, Lysera's mental voice explained. What we three might become together? When the vision faded, Marcus and Naomi found themselves holding each other, tears streaming down their faces. There has to be another way, Naomi insisted. We can explain, negotiate. A new alarm sounded. The coalition vessel was initiating a forced docking procedure. They had minutes at most before armed forces would enter the shuttle. Lysera stepped away from them, her entire body now emanating violet light. There is another way, she said, her voice resonant with power beyond her years. But you must choose. Choose what? Marcus asked. To come with me, she replied. Not as you are, but as we could be. Understanding dawned slowly. Lysera was offering transformation, evolution beyond their human limitations. The connection they'd shared had been preparing them, gradually altering their consciousness to withstand the transition. We would never return, Naomi realized. Not as ourselves. But we would be together, Lysera confirmed. Family, always. The shuttle shuddered as the docking clamps engaged. Through the viewport, they could see armed figures preparing to board. Marcus looked at Naomi, their hands still clasped. I choose you, he said simply. Both of you, Naomi nodded, tears and determination mingling in her eyes. Always. They knelt beside Lysera, forming their familiar triangle. As the airlock began to cycle open, Lysera's light enveloped them completely, their physical forms becoming translucent, boundaries dissolving. Captain Rivera and his security team burst into the shuttle moments later. Weapons raised only to find it empty, the air shimmering with particles of fading violet light. On the shuttle's main console, a message blinked on the screen. Tell them we are gone. The bridge is closed. High above, the massive ships began to withdraw from orbit. Their mission neither successful nor failed, but rendered irrelevant by an outcome none had anticipated. 3 consciousnesses, now inextricably merged, yet still distinct, rose through dimensions beyond human perception. Marcus and Naomi remained aware of themselves and each other, their love transformed but undiminished as they followed Lysera into the vast unknown. They had become something new, neither human nor alien, but a family forged across species, across realities. Together they traveled beyond the horizon of human understanding, pioneers of a connection that transcended physical form, and somewhere in the cosmos, 3 points of violet light moved in perfect harmony. Their journey just beginning. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. Sonnet 3.7